Hello. Good morning. I look great. So basically, I am in the middle of a very large house project, which honestly is kind of kicking my ass. Here's a very brief sneak peek. Tom Holland, eat your heart out. It's just a tiny bit painful to drag myself away from a project that I'm like right, knee deep into, but y'all needed a video for this week, so I needed to do something simple for this week's video, and so I thought about a few years back there was a trend. YouTubers would read the assumptions sent in by the viewers being you, I would hope. I did it and I had a lot of fun with it. It was a little scary. I still feel like it's a little scary. I guess it's another way for you to get to know me, if you like. My house is a mess. I'm a mess. Nick has like 3 hours of straight meetings, and this house is very small. So if you hear the gentle murmuring of a man's voice, as your boy Frankie Sinatra once said,
"That's life."
That's life.
Okay, so I figured while we do this, and while I talk about myself a little gratuitously, I would do a little makeup look because it's been a minute. Specifically, there is this really freaking adorable Instagram filter. It has like little butterflies. The other week I was feeling just really down about the way my face looks. That filter made me feel better, so I wanted to recreate it. Insects should be a normal facial accessory for everyone. Let's take a better look at this filter here. Okay, is there any eye makeup? Not really. Quite a bit of, oh. Can I make my nose really big? Squidward. Okay. Pretty basic, and a little bit of nose contouring for some reason. Okay, so first things first, curl my bangs. Lay. Hello. While this is heating up, and before we begin, let's talk about things that are giving me serotonin. I have been trying to romanticize my life. This doesn't even have to do with social media. It's just like a mental thing. Treat yourself like you are your own main character of a Netflix miniseries, is the way I like to think about it. The way you did when you were 13 years old, listening to your Walkman on the bus. Oh, I was the only one that did that? Okay. Things that have been giving me serotonin lately. The ballet called The Tales of Beatrix Potter. I ordered the DVD. Where did I put that? Oh, I've been told. Yes, I got the DVD. As far as romanticizing my life, I also am trying to fill my life with whimsy. If there is anything more whimsical than people dancing around in cute little animal costumes, then I don't know what it is. Which is ironic considering I don't particularly like the big suits at Walt Disney World. They kind of freak me out ever since I was little. I don't like mascots, but for some reason this just borders the line of creepy and cute for me. Maybe it's because they have little outfits that I would completely wear myself. I find them more relatable. Second thing, food and preparing food and making new kinds of food, something that I have been really looking forward to. Baking is like a new thing that I'm trying out. For birthdays, I'm going to try to make the person their favorite dessert and then bring it to them. My family literally all have their birthdays within the span of like a month. My brother's was last week. I made him some chocolate cupcakes. My mom's is coming up. My sister's is coming up. Tommy's is coming up. My dad is coming up. Giving someone a gift because you have to at Christmas. Giving someone a gift on their birthday. Obviously, I still like giving gifts on holidays, but I just feel like I've definitely had a lot of birthdays where I just feel like no one really cares. Giving someone a special gift or a special treat on their birthday is just like so much more meaningful, almost because you don't have to, and it's just purely because you are thinking about them and you want them to have a good day and thank them for being born. Anyways, that's my thought on that. Working out, I guess, not the physical actual aspect of working out, but we have an exercise bike that came with a subscription app thing where you can go on scenic routes, hopping on there for 20 minutes, taking a stroll through wherever I feel like it. So they have like a Tour of France one that I like. They have like different parts. So that's kind of been you know, almost like an escape. It's almost like a video game, kind of. Takes you through different scenery and it distracts you from the fact that you're actually exercising, which is what I need. I came up with what I thought was an ingenious idea. This is cool, but we have the technology. Why doesn't someone make a VR bike ride? And I was so excited about it for like a full day. I even considered buying like an actual VR headset. We have like a little cheapo phone headset VR thing. And I tried looking up VR bike ride videos on YouTube. You know, I never have any problem doing this until I'm actually on camera and then I just forget how to do anything. And put that little headset on and almost immediately I was like, both Nick and I felt motion sick for like the rest of the night. I nixed that idea. I guess birds is my last thing. You might be able to hear them. But they've been very active the past few days because it's been a little bit warmer out. I feel like it's like a false spring though, because Massachusetts is kind of a bitch. Regardless, it's still nice to hear them. They're very welcome. That's about it. I just wanted to share. I think we might actually put fake lashes on for this look. I honestly cannot remember the last time I wore lashes. So I'm also gonna take my curlers out because I want my hair to settle a bit so it's not super duper curly. Let's read your assumptions. I'm scared. I feel like last time I did this, I was like a little bit more open to criticism. Last time I do remember skipping over the majority of the nicest ones just because you guys are very sweet. I wanted it to be juicy. Everyone should have a slice of humble pie every now and then, even though that's the majority of my diet. Humble pie and imposter syndrome souffle. Thanks, I'm here all week. I'm so scared. Please be nice to me, but also not too nice. Starting off strong. You are a hoarder. If lockdown has taught me anything, it's that I want more space and less clutter, as you will see in next week's video. Going in with foundation. I do like knickknacks. That I am 100% guilty of. Your bitch loves a knickknack. But that's because... Never mind. I was gonna say that's because each knickknack has a story, and you know, if you point to anything in my house, I can tell you where I got it and what it means to me, but that's a pretty much textbook definition of being a hoarder. A hoarder of precious trinkets and shiny things. Not to the extent that I think would necessitate a film crew to intervene. You are a couch potato. Entirely depends. Especially lately, I honestly have kind of forgotten how to relax. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, Nick hangs out with his friends virtually. You know, I used to be able just to sit on the couch and play a video game and just like zone out. I don't know. I can't do that lately. I always feel like I need to be keeping busy. So either I will get a head start on editing for the week. I know these look like garbage, but you'll see, they'll all come together. I use NYX Fill and Fluff taupe for the base, and then I go in with a darker ash brown color for the tails, just because I feel like it's easier to get like a nice sharp line. But yeah, I feel like either I need to get a head start on editing or like sew something. Those are crooked. I also feel like sometimes people underestimate how much work I do. In all honesty, I don't have a lot of time to be a couch potato because I'm almost always sewing or working on a project or editing. A little bit of a defensive answer there, but I would love to be a couch potato, honestly. Sounds a lot more relaxing than what I do. I'm an anxious potato. You are extremely shy. Yes. You are extremely shy and don't like to be the center of attention in real life. That is correct. And it's actually quite ironic that I am a YouTuber. In real life, I cannot stand when the conversation turns to me. I feel like I like to surround myself with people who love to talk, because all I have to do is listen. All right, what are we gonna do for the eyes? A little bit of an orange look. You know what? I'm just gonna move this over here so I can stop lurching. That's life. I feel like I've done this exact look many a times before, so forgive me if that's the case. But don't care. I think being a millennial isn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be. Okay, here's the tea. I think everyone is blowing this whole Gen Z versus millennial thing way out of proportion. When that whole thing came out where it was like, oh, millennials, Gen Z says you can't do this anymore. I saw so many people I went to high school with on Facebook be like, excuse me?
I'm not gonna let Tide Pod eaters tell me what to do.
And it's just, oh, it's so silly. Hate to break it to you, but things like BuzzFeed articles, they are designed to make you click on them. They're designed to get a rise out of you so that you comment and share. That is exactly what the person writing that article is trying to do. It's trying to get you to share it on Facebook and be like, oh, I don't think, that Gen Zs actually care about any of these things. Same way that Tide Pods, I think, were absolutely blown out of proportion. I don't think anyone was actually eating Tide Pods. But that's what happens, is that it gets shared around, and then years later, people are still talking about it and still think that's what Gen Z is known for. So that's my 2 cents. I think everyone should just get along. It's fine. We all get older. In a few years, Gen Zs are going to be the uncool ones, and there will be a new generation to make fun of them. It's just all a bunch of nonsense. We're all on this earth. We're sharing space. We all get older and do things that are considered uncool. And honestly, I was never cool to begin with. So if you want to wear skinny jeans and side parts and use the laugh cry emoji, which I will use until I die. In fact, I want it on my tombstone. Then continue to do so. Don't let dumb internet articles tell you what you can and cannot do. How was that steaming hot tea for you? Okay, so if you saw my other assumptions video, you will know that one thing that kept popping up and that I didn't quite understand, and this happened to me in college as well. My drawing teacher pulled me aside, just in the most passive-aggressive voice you could ever imagine, went, "You were popular in high school, weren't you?" Number 1, didn't know what that meant, and number 2, completely false. Here's another one. Despite being quirky, you were still popular and well liked in high school. I don't know. The answer is, well, no, and I don't know. No, I was not popular in high school, and I don't know if I was well liked. No one really ever knows, do they? I'm gonna do eyeliner, so I'm probably going to need to focus for a few seconds here, so just give me a minute. This is drying out on my eyelid. Why? One eyelid will do fine, and then I go to do my left one, and it sucks all the moisture out of my liquid eyeliners. Good enough. I kind of just existed in my high school and floated around in a void until I graduated. I don't think I was not liked. I just think people didn't really acknowledge my existence, and I was just kind of there. And I feel like I'm the kind of person, people were to look back in their high school yearbook, they would stumble upon my picture and be like, wait, who was that? They're from my hometown, then they would probably know me as the girl that brought a giant stuffed donkey from Shrek to the 6th grade dance. Because it was a gift from my friend, because it was my birthday, but everyone thought that I just brought it because I really friggin' loved a donkey from Shrek. Which is not a lie, I really did wholeheartedly love Donkey from Shrek. So they're not entirely wrong. Will add lashes now? It's a question that I want you to answer for me. Hurry. Send your answers now. Do. I'm gonna be really mad if I have to get up and go get some. Mother effer. Okay, I'll be back. This is fun. Where did I friggin' put it? And I'm gonna do this the way that you're not supposed to, by putting it directly onto my eyelid. Judge me if you like. I'm sweating. All right, while those are drying, let's talk about how I'm sweating a little bit more, because that's fun content. You would be happy about socks for Christmas. Absolutely. I love socks. I don't have enough socks. Please, give me socks. You were a theater kid back in high school? No. I wish. I was kind of like a sports kid. Shocking. I'm gonna add some orange on the tops of my cheeks, just a little bit. I've definitely done this same look 3 times, but it's just so stinking cute. If I could go back, I would try to push to be a theater kid just because I think it's really fun. to dress up in costume and play a character, which I suppose I'm making up for now in my adult life. I played softball and field hockey, so I really didn't have time to do anything else. Your girl was pretending that she liked exercise. That's a lie, I never pretended that. I always hated it. You know, weirdly enough, I was not a theater kid, nor have I ever been in a play, aside from a lovely rendition of The Lion King in 6th grade. Aside from not actually ever being in a stage production of any sort, I have nightmares that I am and I can't remember my lines. And like look around and like wait for the other actors to be like, don't you mean this? Sometimes that doesn't happen and I'm just sitting there like, improv time. Equally as terrifying. So I don't know what kind of subconscious shit's going on there, but speaking of dreams, I've been having reoccurring dreams that I'm a member of the Avengers. And like by reoccurring, I mean it's happened at least 4 nights in a row. For some reason, me and Captain America are always like BFFs. Just bros. Any subconscious thoughts into that? Who knows? Maybe I just want to be a part of a team and save the world. Lashes. Damn. This is more my speed. You were the horse kid in your class. Not far off. As we discussed, I was the donkey from Shrek girl. You have a few close friends rather than a large group of acquaintances. Yes. Let's add some freckles. I've always felt like this. I would rather focus my energy on a small group of people and be a better friend to that group than try to like stretch myself out and like be mediocre friend to a larger number of people, if that makes any sense. I just felt like it's never really been very important for me to have a large group of friends. I would rather have 3 or 4 that I'm just like constantly investing myself in their lives. This looks like garbage. And this past year has not been easy to keep up those, I don't know how to describe it, but the friends that you only get to see every now and then, seeing each other once or twice a year, and it just like goes on like that until you die. This past year has kind of ruined that. There are so many friends that I would love to just like get a coffee with and catch up with, and I just like can't. But it's like not that far of a friendship that you like schedule a Zoom call. A little too much effort for both of you. That makes me sound like a dick, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. I just miss meeting up with people, hearing about what they've been up to for the past however so long. And then at the end, of course, the mandatory, let's not let it get this long till we see each other again. And then it absolutely is that long until you see each other again. Am I a bad friend? Weird freckles done. Excuse me, sir. Since you usually don't allow messages on social media, I assume you are not a people person type. Okay, let's get this straight. I turned off story replies on Instagram. Still allow messages, you can still message me if you want, but I turned off story replies because I want to have more room for people who send me messages. Something that I don't think people realize is that when your story goes out to 70,000 views, someone replies with, haha, cool, nice. It really, really clogs up message requests and your inboxes, and it makes it really, really freaking impossible to see other messages people are trying to send you. So it's not that I'm not a people person. This is sounding a little defensive. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Love talking to you guys, and I will try to answer comments when I can. It gets a little overwhelming sometimes, so your girl needs a break. You leave a lot of your clothes untouched. Unfortunately. Especially this past year, I think I'm due for another closet clean out. My newfound hatred of clutter is really going against what my wardrobe looks like. I feel like getting rid of the clothes is so much work that I just don't, and then I buy new clothes that I actually will wear. It just all gets like smushed together. I do end up donating a lot. I don't know. I feel like with the vintage stuff, I would much rather sell it for like way cheaper than I actually got it and give someone a chance to own some vintage that isn't hella expensive. But to do that, I need to set out like a whole day to photograph measurements and sell it and ship it that I just like haven't had time for. So I'm trying not to buy new clothes, but then that doesn't solve the problem of me. No, I'll just make my own clothes, because that's exactly the same problem, even though my brain is like, no, it's fine. You're not buying clothes, but I'm still making a mess for myself. Yes, a lot of my clothes do go untouched, and I'm trying to rectify that eventually. Crooked lips. You feel guilty when you buy new materials for your sewing projects because you feel like you should reuse things. Yes! It's kind of been like festering. I used to have no problem just going out to Joann's and buying like a shit ton of fabric. I have kind of like this weird weight that hangs over me. Environmental impact. Another reason is because I really do love to recycle things and find new purposes for things, and it makes me feel like I have a little bit less of a footprint, which is like so hypocritical of me to say because in other aspects of my life, you know, I'm sure I'm not as environmentally friendly as I should be. Just, I don't know. It's just like a weird brain thing that happens where I just like feel super guilty buying new things and clothes and fabrics. So I kind of just like don't anymore. I don't know. I feel like as someone who grew into an adult and all of a sudden was like, whoa, I can buy things? Give me everything. I'm just like morphing into someone who's like, I don't want anymore. It's been kind of like a weird transition. I think we're almost done here. Let me add a little bit of blush. For everyone filling out their bingo cards, Rachel puts on too much blush. You can now fill out that square. I don't know, whatever, that's fine. Let's do my hair. But first, you would like to have those vintage, gorgeous Victorian/French style home someday. Oh, would I ever. Dream home? I would love to have a historic home. I would love to have, sorry. Not bad. Go get the butterflies, I'll be right back. To go back to the question that I was initially asked. I would love to have a little farmhouse on a bunch of land. Basically, if you've ever played Last of Us 2, I would love that house. Okay, there's one here and then one here. So, some lash glue on my face, I guess. I don't know. I think we still have like a year or so left in this house before we move to our forever home. Not that I don't love this house, but I would love something that's completely new to me. Because if you don't know, this used to be my grandmother's house. What is my voice doing? It was very prevalent in my childhood, which is not a bad thing. Planting your own roots, maybe. You know? It's a freshman. Nailed it. Casual Friday activities. Gluing some paper to my face. You don't really like hugs? Oh, you are wrong. I love hugs. I love hugs so much. I miss them. You know, there's just nothing like a good hug. When you haven't seen someone in a while and you do like the really long hug and then the it's a very specific kind of hug. I look stupid. Listen, y'all, if we could behave. Thank you very much. Fold like that. Listen to me. I'm your mother. Not quite as cute as the filter, but it'll do. Pig. I mean, it's fine. But you're not easily angered? I wish that were true. I am very easily angered. Something you might not get to see on YouTube. Very few people get to see my temper, and that is, by that I mean Nicholas or Tommy if I'm driving. I'm not bragging about it. It's not something I hold very high on my wonderful self-qualities list. I've always had a temper. But I feel like Nick has learned to cope with my shouting at any slight inconvenience or cursing if I drop something. Yeah, so having a temper and then also being a human tornado is not a great mix because I'm almost always losing stuff and then subsequently screaming about it. It's really only Nick that gets to see that, so lucky him. You want kids. Yes, I do, eventually. But not right now, or anytime soon. Nick and I definitely do want kids. I believe we want 2. I want to wait until we're ready. Everyone who has kids is like, you're never going to be ready. I at least want to be a little bit more ready than we currently are. So, stop asking. I get it enough at every family gathering. Let's do 2 more. You don't like aquariums or zoos. I have a weird relationship with zoos and aquariums because on the one hand, I love animals. I've always loved animals, every kind. I love watching them, especially apes or chimps. I am fascinated with kind of the evolution aspect of the fact that we are so closely related to them, and like watching them, they have like the same kind of mannerisms and like the way they play. Why am I getting emotional talking about chimps? What the f? It's one of those days. I also feel like zoos sometimes aren't the best place for animals. They don't have as much space as they should. I understand that in some circumstances it's better for them than the wild is, especially if they're endangered. Breeding them is in hopes of building the species back up, but I don't know. I feel guilty at the same time. I remember we went to a zoo around here. I was so excited to see the big cats. And so we went to the tiger exhibit, and the poor thing, there was like a line on the ground where you could tell all day long he just paces back and forth. All right, last one. You prefer not to tell people about YouTube and prefer to keep it separate from your social life. Yes. Although, I mean, technically it's a little bit difficult to keep it separate from my social life just because obviously all of my friends know what I do. But if it comes to meeting a new person, I definitely try to keep that out of it. Almost always has follow-up questions because people are confused as to what YouTuber means. And in general, I have very much a disconnect between YouTube and my social life. Even though technically I'm the same person, I'm just a little bit obviously more animated here than you would see me in real life. Comfortable, I was gonna say with you. That's not true, but I'm also by myself and don't actively feel like people are judging me. People are judging me after the fact. But that's fine, as long as I don't feel the judgment pressing on me at the moment of speaking, then I'm fine. Okay, so I'm going to change into something else and then go take some photos of this Luke. I am probably going to do a little Photoshop magic and make this guy orange just because it's bugging me. Want to have flowers and butterflies attached to my face at all times. Whimsical. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get dressed. All right, that's it. I know this was kind of a little bit lackluster of a video and not quite as thrilling as watching me do anything else. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a big project that you will see next week, which I'm very excited about. And I just needed a nice chill video. So now I'm going to immediately go edit this. It's been a while since I've done a same day kind of video, but wish me luck. I love you guys, whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every Friday and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! Testing. Oh, so I've been told. I've got paint in my hair. Heat in my ass. Boom, 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 boom. You have a few. What the heck? You would like to have. So I'm gonna take this. That's life, or so I've been told.